Hello everyone, and welcome to the 6-month update video. If you kind of see me looking over for a second, because I kind of typed everything out that I needed to say, so just FYI on that. If you want me to explain what these 6-month update videos are, this pretty much lets me go through games I'm planning on playing, all the media, so YouTube, Twitch, etc, etc, and my health updates. We're also going to be talking about how my summer event's been going, what's going on with the 2nd annual SwansGaming, and what's going on with my surgery. I do also have another thing that I did that I will be announcing also in this video. Obviously, let's get started with every social media that I currently have. Okay, let's start with good old YouTube. I will say YouTube has been slow in growth this year compared to last year, and that's completely okay with me. I do have some plans to kind of tweak it a little bit, and see if that can help out at all. Although I will say that with the channel being obviously slow, that doesn't really hinder the me uploading 5 videos throughout the entire week. I did think about doing every day again, but I decided to kind of hold off on that because the last time I tried to do that did not help me at all. But I will say that ever since I did start doing the 5 videos every week, I'll definitely say that health-wise has been a lot better. I'm not staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning trying to edit videos to just try to get them out that day. There was a lot of good benefits for me to do that. And I think that I'm going to continue that formula. I don't see it breaking at all. I think it's been very well. Obviously, if you see these style of videos, it might come up that day, it might come up Saturday. These type of videos are really like they're kind of here to be put into any position, really. That being said, there's not much else going on with YouTube. I'm not really changing anything else. There's only going to be some minor tweaks here and there. One of the tweaks that I did and I showed on stream is that now I have a border around my Let's Play videos. So whenever you see Doom pop up, for example, or Dark Souls Remaster, you will notice a border around it. The reason why I do that is because it kind of just pops out a lot more, especially if you're just kind of scrolling on YouTube. And that's the big reason why I decided to do such things as that. Am I going to do all the videos like that? The 900 videos, 984 videos I've uploaded? No, I am planning on doing that, all of them. Starting with Dark Souls Remaster, whenever that pops up on YouTube, that continues the borders of the videos. Now, eventually, that can definitely go away if one of these days, this becomes not much of a hobby, but as a job, then that could definitely change that stuff. Anyway, that being said, let's move on to Twitter and TikTok, where I'm just going to combine both of them because, yeah. Now let's move on to Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, and TikTok. The reason why I'm combining them together is because, in honesty, I really don't have anything else going on with them. Twitter's staying the same with updates for YouTube, Twitch, or anything else that's going on in my life. Maybe some news updates once in a while. Maybe you'll see me repost it and stuff like that, because now likes are just non-existent to people. As for TikTok, I really don't know what to do with it, to be honest, except for announcing my big events like Halloween that's about to come up, my 2-year anniversary summer event, if I do one next year, etc., etc. I really don't know how to clip myself very well, let alone the biggest issue that I also have is I just don't have the time to do TikTok. Maybe one of these days I will be able to really sit down and be able to like edit, you know, TikTok videos and be able to get those out. It's not like I stream a shit ton. I only stream sometimes 5 to 6 times a week, and that's really only like maybe 3 hours of content. But sometimes I just don't think I'm personally that entertaining to really put on TikTok. Maybe I could, maybe one of these days I'll put like my own opinions or whatever. With that being said, I'm kind of sorry that there's not much of an update for these two. Twitter's just kind of Twitter, and TikTok is just, it's not abandoned. I still use it like for my own daily, you know, just scrolling, you know, my doom scrolling that people really don't like. But that being said, not much else is going on. But let's move on to Twitch, because there's not much probably going on with that except for some minor changes, but we'll get into that. Same thing that is going on with Twitter/X and TikTok. This is Twitch, and not much is changing on Twitch either. I am planning on still streaming the games I really enjoy and what I'm planning on streaming in the near future. I do want to throw some multiplayer games in there once in a while, like ZZZ is coming out, The Final Descendants coming out next month, and so many other games are coming out that are multiplayer focus. And that's kind of just mostly it. Obviously we're still doing our summer event over there. We're currently on Dark Souls 2, and we're also playing Doom 2016 at this moment of the recording. And that's mostly it. Nothing is being changed for scheduling. I will say the only thing I might change is that 8 p.m. is like, if I know that I have an off day, 8 p.m. is just going to be the solid, whatever you want to say, like time that I'm just going to start, right? If I am working, then it's probably going to be like 9 p.m. PST. And that's mostly it. But let's go and talk about the summer event that's currently going on. I personally think the summer event has been doing very well. I've been really enjoying it. It's great to kind of come back to the Soulsborne style of games, and kind of have a different perspective on them, especially with I never beat Demon Souls and I never beat Dark Souls 3. But with Dark Souls Remaster, and obviously I played the original Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 Scholar the First Sin, I have beaten those two multiple times, and definitely going back definitely has different perspective for me on those games. That being said, am I going to be playing Sekiro? That's probably a question that has been popped up even with the last update I've done. No, I'm planning on not playing Sekiro. And obviously Elden Ring I have plans for the later half of this year. So obviously those two are not going to be in the rotation currently. If I do play Sekiro, it's probably going to be a little bit longer than Elden Ring. So it'll probably be, let's say, next year, probably end of next year. Who really knows when I'll play Sekiro? It really just depends if when I have the feeling to play Sekiro. That being said, we're just going to continue on with our Souls run, and so on and so forth. And also, like I said earlier, I did start Doom 2016. We are going to also be playing Doom Eternal. the reason why I'm doing this is mostly because a lot of the Souls games are very, you know, cut and paste, copy and paste, that if you played one, you pretty much almost play all the others. Just in the combat scenario, not so much the story or stuff like that. And it makes a lot of sense for me to kind of throw like a quick single player game in there, and like Doom and Doom Eternal, that wouldn't take a long time to beat, but it kind of is a refresher, instead of just me being stuck on Souls games. So that's definitely a thing that we are also doing. Now, we are going to move on to a new social media that I made, and we will talk about it. So yeah. First of all, this is not a sponsor to this website at all. Now, if y'all might be wondering what this is, it is called backlogged.com. I'll leave a link down in the description below for it. It is my new social media. You might be wondering what it is. It's so you can actually put your backlogged games on there, and you can, once you finish them, you can leave a review. There's star reviews for it, and you can also, I think, type out reviews for it too. Now, obviously, like I said, this is not a sponsored. I heard this through TikTok, funny enough. And I was like, hey, you know, I can write reviews and I can just give my general opinion on things. I just don't really have the time. You might be wondering, obviously, like, why did you make one instead of, you know, maybe putting 1-minute game reviews on TikTok or do game reviews on YouTube? I just personally don't have a time to like edit and sit down and do all that stuff. So it makes a lot. I can easily write out a good review a lot faster than I can talk about the review and really sit down, edit it, putting music behind, finding clips for my own stream, blah 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 blah. It does take a lot more to do one of those style of videos than anything else, and I just don't, like I said, I just don't have the time. Now, here's the caveat with this. I'm only going to be posting reviews, like full-length written reviews on games I have never beaten before, or new games. Now, if these games I have beaten before, like Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2, I will leave a star review, but I will not actually sit down and write a full-on review, because kind of makes no sense for me to do that. Now, I can, if you all want me to, I could definitely do that, but for me right now, I'm probably not going to do that portion. But like I said, if y'all want me to, leave in the comments below like what you really want and stuff like that. Of course, you can find me at AlmightySwan64, and make sure you give me a follow there. And yeah, that's really it for backlog.com. Like I said, the link will be in the description below to my own page. You can go follow that one. But moving on from backlog.com, like I said, not sponsored. Let's move on to the second annual Schwanaween. Now let's move on to Schwanaween. Technically the second annual Schwanaween. So last year, I did my first annual Schwanaween. That was definitely off the cuff. I just kind of thought about it in like 2 to 3 months prior to it. I didn't really gave it a lot of thought, and so on and so forth. But knowing that I'm going to continue doing this for the inevitable future, I think that's, you know, that's obvious that I'm going to do. Now, I will say that with this upcoming Schwanaween, I do want to mention some changes are going to be coming to this upcoming Schwanaween. I didn't want to mention this like whenever the update for Schwanaween. I will mention this again, but here's what the plan is. Last year, I streamed every single day, 7 days a week, so on and so forth. I'm only going to now be streaming 6 days a week, and I'm going to take Saturdays off. Now, what does that mean for like movie night and stuff like that? That means that it might be only every single Friday that we do a movie, or we might do movies just every couple of weeks and just pick out 2 movies throughout, you know, the month of October, and we'll watch them. It could be, you know, a series this time. You know, maybe we watch the first like 2 Terrorizer movies or whatever we watch and stuff like that. Obviously, we will not be showing that stuff on stream because copyright and tons of other stuff. So we'll have an overlay that will just have, you know, obviously what we're watching and then the timer and stuff like that. And that's how we're going to do it. And I think that makes a lot of sense, at least for me, to do it on that point or that side of things. But obviously that's going to affect a lot of stuff. I am going to still think about it. I do know I want to move it to 6 days instead of 7 days, because then I can at least take 1 day off for myself to really sit down and like edit videos and stuff like that whenever I have other things that inevitably pop up and so on and so forth. Now, I will mention some of the games we are planning on playing for this upcoming Schwannoween, and some of them I mentioned this in my stream multiple times. Silent Hill 2 remake is going to be one of them. Alone in the Dark remake is going to be one of them, and Alan Wake 2 with its DLC. We are going to be doing all of them. Now, that being said, I do have a few other games that I'm not going to mention now, obviously, because I want to keep them a secret. That being said, those are kind of the 3 big major ones I want to get to this year. And then I have some other small games that are more AA, indies. You know, obviously we have that week that we do like retro gaming. I do have plans for what we're going to play during that time. And that's pretty much it on pretty much Schwannoween. I think this gives a lot more clarity on what's going to be happening with this upcoming Schwannoween. And obviously, I'm going to have an update video in September, and maybe a week after the announcement or in that week of the announcement for Schwannoween. I haven't decided on a date on when I'm going to put up the announcement trailer for the 2nd annual Schwannoween. There's still a lot of stuff that I'm personally working on for that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Now, let's move on to what games are we going to play before Schwannoween and after Schwannoween. Now let's move on to the games that I am planning on playing before Schwannoween and after Schwannoween. And I'm gonna kind of go over kind of the things that we're planning on doing, okay? So obviously we are currently doing our summer event. The summer event, it consists of Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne. Obviously I mentioned this earlier in the video, Sekiro might not be a part of it. If I didn't, sorry about that. And Elden Ring will be later in the year. Now, we are also going to be playing Doom 2016 of this time of, you know, of whenever this comes out. We might have already finished Doom 2016, or we might have be continuing Doom 2016. I'm not quite sure at this point in time. And then we're obviously going to be playing Doom Eternal. Now, you might be wondering, well, what if you finish the summer event too soon? You're getting through these games really fast. I do have a plan to play the Dragon Age games. I do want to play Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Inquisition before the Veilguard comes out. Now, there are some caveats with this. I have not been able to figure out what is going on with my PC copy of Dragon Age 2. I will boot it up and it boots perfectly fine. I'll click new game and it loads and it crashes every time. I reinstalled it multiple times. I've done anything that I could possibly do that, you know, I took it out of full screen mode. I lowered the resolutions. I done everything I could. I made it that, hey, you gotta have administration power to, you know, play this game. I've done everything that I could possibly do. I went into the settings and turned autosave off. I've done everything I could do, and it still does not work. Now, if it still does not work at the time of me playing the game, I'm going to play my 360 copy. Now, I don't have an Xbox One. I don't have an Xbox Series console. We are playing straight from the Xbox 360 itself. And then we'll go into the Dragon Age thing, and then we'll pick out what end up happening through our playthrough at the end of the playthrough of Origins 2 and Inquisition. And that's kind of the way that we're going to do that. Now, I also still want to get to Stellar Blade. That's another game that I still want to get to. I don't know when we're going to get to that. That's definitely something that could happen in between the Dragon Age games. That could definitely be something after Swanoween. We really have to see where that kind of lands. Obviously, what is happening after, you know, Swanoween is obviously Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out. We're going to end up playing that. We have Elden Ring and then its expansion. We have Starfield and its expansion, and we have Fallout London that we are going to get to all. And then obviously, I don't know if Dragon Age the Veilguard's coming out this year. They're saying it's coming out this year, but it might come out next year. And that is another game we are obviously going to be playing into the next following year. So just kind of mention that these are kind of the games that I do want to play. There are some other games that obviously I do want to play in the summertime. September has like Epic Mickey Rebrush. That's the remake that for Epic Mickey. I did think about playing that one and Epic Mickey 2. And the second one I have to play on the Wii U, obviously. And yeah, I think you know, there's not many others, like maybe like Wukong, Black Myth Wukong. I'm trying to think of the name and stuff like that, and that we're obviously going to play. I don't know if we're going to play them into Swanoween or after Swanoween. We'll definitely figure it out by that time. But yeah, the other thing that I also will mention is that I also want to play the Uncharted games. I have not played them in a very long time, let alone I never played 4 and I never played Lost Legacy. And I think it's time for me to really sit down and play those games. And I think that's going to be kind of a bridge between Assassin's Creed Shadows, Elden Ring, and then probably Uncharted. And then we go into Starfield and then Fallout London. I think that's kind of the way that I'm thinking about it. And that's all I really have to say about what we're playing before and after Swanoween. Now, we are going to move on to my surgery that I'm going to be having sometime this year. Now let's move on to my surgery. So my surgery was originally planned for the end of May, but that got pushed back because I am planning on having MRI scans done. And that stuff needs to be done first because I want to make sure before I do any surgery and they, you know, obviously get more stitches and stuff like that, I know what's going on and stuff and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, if you don't know what the surgery was about, it was for hernia, but I do have pain on my right hand side. So they're going to obviously check my gallbladder, check my muscle tissue and stuff like that with the MRI and see if there's anything there and so on and so forth. Now, when am I planning on having this surgery? I'm thinking about maybe mid-September, end September, or it could get pushed back as far as the middle of November. Now, I'm not 100% sure on where I'm going to land around this. It really depends on if I have the money saved for, because I'm going to be off for a while. Obviously, that means a lot more content coming to Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. But I have to make sure I have the money saved. I have to make sure that I have the finances to do it, and so on and so forth. And that's really all I can really say. Obviously, you might be wondering, will this affect streaming? Yes, it will probably affect streaming. To a point, it's like a yes or no question. It really depends on how well I heal and stuff like that. Make sure there's like no infections going on and stuff like that. But that being said, that's pretty much it for the surgery. It's probably going to happen in September or mid-November. And if it is mid-November, it's mostly because I'm doing Halloween, and obviously the stuff is not a life or death situation. But yeah, now let's kind of end the video. Let's end this whole entire thing, and yeah. I want to close this video off by saying thank you to everyone who decided to follow me on my Twitch. When I decided to stream, I wasn't thinking that I was going to make, you know, obviously be at 50 plus followers. So I want to thank every single one of you that have followed me and continue following me, right? Now, obviously, this is 50 plus followers as this time of recording. So that being said, I generally just want to put my, you know, my thanks out there, because a year ago, whenever I did this, I didn't think that I was going to have 50 followers. I was thinking maybe I would have like 25. I wasn't really doing that much content, just despite out of just YouTube stuff. I wasn't doing TikTok and stuff like that, and I never thought I would reach there. I know some people will reach higher than that, but to me, not doing as... maybe rephrase that, not doing as much with quotations compared to other streamers. And that's mostly because I don't have the personal time to like make TikToks and stuff like that. So I try to do the content that I can personally do, and that's what I do on YouTube, my Halloween event, Halloween and everything else. I generally want to thank every single one of you for that. Now, with all that being said, this is pretty much everything that I planned out for the rest of the year. Obviously, some changes might end up happening here and there. Really depends on what happens with like the MRI and, you know, surgeries and stuff like that. So there might be some push, some games getting pushed back, some being brought up because of maybe a lot shorter or whatever. And that's just kind of the thing. Anyway, like I said, thank you all so much, and I hope everyone has a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!